Listen, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants to hold the trophy at the end. But let me tell you something, success don't come to the distracted. Millionaires, they ain't made by chance. They're made by focus. They lock in when everybody else is scrolling. They work when everybody else is sleeping. And the opposite is true too. Distractions, the little temptations, the wasted hours, those things don't just cost you time, they cost you your freedom. They turn men into slaves to entertainment, slaves to fear. So the question is simple. Are you going to be focused enough to build your future or distracted enough to lose it? When I say focus creates freedom, I mean the kind of freedom that only comes from discipline, sacrifice, and a laser vision on what matters most. Focus is not a gift that falls into your lap. It's a decision you make every single morning when you wake up. It's a choice to turn away from the noise, from the distractions, from the easy routes that call your name. Focus is the muscle of the mind, and the more you train it, the stronger it becomes, the more unstoppable you become. People look at millionaires and they see the money, the cars, the houses, the success, but what they don't see are the thousands of nights where that person said no to distractions, no to the parties, no to wasting time, and yes to the grind, yes to the vision, yes to the mission that pulled them forward. They didn't get free because they had money. They had money because they first got free in their mind. And freedom of the mind begins with focus. When you are truly focused, you cut chains. The chains of fear, the chains of self-doubt, the chains of comparison, the chains of procrastination. Distraction is a prison that keeps you locked inside the same cycle of mediocrity day after day. But focus is the key that unlocks the door. Focus is what allows you to see the bigger picture when everybody else is blind to it. Focus is what makes you sit in the dark working when no one is watching because you know the light is coming. Freedom doesn't come from doing what feels good in the moment. Freedom comes from denying yourself the temporary pleasures that steal your destiny. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot be both focused and distracted. You cannot build an empire while you scroll endlessly through things that don't matter. You cannot move forward while you're chained down by the weight of wasted hours. Focus is a fight, but it's a fight worth choosing. The reason focus creates freedom is because it gives you clarity. When you know exactly what you want, exactly what you're aiming for, you stop wasting energy on the things that don't serve you. You stop chasing validation from people who don't matter. You stop seeking approval from voices that don't even know your struggle. With focus, you are no longer pulled in 10 different directions. You are locked in on one. That singularity of purpose is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Most people are broke not because they are not smart enough, not because they are not talented enough, but because they are distracted enough. They scatter their energy across meaningless pursuits, and then they wonder why they never break through. Focused energy is power. A magnifying glass can burn through steel if you hold it still long enough. That's what focus does to your life. It gathers every ounce of energy, every bit of strength, every drop of willpower, and it burns through the obstacles standing in your way. When you lose focus, you lose freedom because you hand over control of your life to whatever shiny distraction shows up. You become a slave to impulses, a slave to entertainment, a slave to comfort. But when you choose focus, you reclaim that control, you dictate your direction, you decide how your story will be written. Think about every chain that's been holding you back: fear of failure, addiction to approval, addiction to comfort. Each one of those chains weakens when you get focused. Each one of those chains snaps the moment you decide matters more than the mission. Focus gives you back your time, and time is the most valuable currency in this world. Every minute you waste is a minute you'll never see again, but every minute you invest with focus compounds into freedom tomorrow. It's the compound interest of discipline. Focus is freedom because it builds confidence. When you stay consistent, when you lock in, when you push past distractions, you start to trust yourself. You no longer need to lean on excuses or external motivation. You know you can count on your own discipline. That's the foundation of freedom. Self-reliance, knowing that no matter what storms come, you won't be shaken because you are anchored to your purpose. A focused man cannot be easily manipulated, cannot be easily swayed, cannot be easily enslaved. He is free because he has chosen a higher path, a narrower path, a disciplined path. And that freedom is priceless. So many people live in invisible prisons, not behind bars, but behind laziness, behind endless distractions. They are free in body, but bound in mind. And the worst part is, many of them don't even realize it. They think they're living, but they're only existing. They think they're free as no one tells them what to do. But in reality, they are chained to their own lack of focus. Real freedom isn't the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want. Real freedom is the strength to discipline yourself, to master yourself, to deny what's easy so you can earn what's great. Focus is the gate you walk through to reach that kind of freedom. You see, every great leader, Every person who left a mark on this world, they had one thing in common. They were obsessively focused. They didn't dabble in everything. They committed to something. They didn't live scattered. They lived locked in. And because of that, they became free from the ordinary. Freedom is not about money. It's about mastery. Mastery over your mind, mastery over your habits, mastery over your choices. That's why focus is not optional. It is essential. Without it, you will forever live chained by mediocrity. But with it, you will rise above every limit placed on you. Would you like me to continue until the full 3,000 words are? Pushing this narrative deeper in Denzel's style delivery, or keep this segment length and then build the rest piece by piece? Millionaires master discipline. Slaves obey impulses. And that is the raw truth nobody wants to admit. People love the idea of success. They love the image of wealth. They love the fantasy of freedom, but they don't love the work, the sacrifice, the grind, the relentless discipline it takes to reach that level. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not comfortable. It is not easy, but it is the currency of freedom. It is the price tag of greatness. A millionaire is not built on luck. A millionaire is forged in the daily furnace of discipline, while the undisciplined chain themselves to every impulse that rises in their heart. Discipline says no when the flesh says yes. Discipline rises when the bed feels too comfortable. Discipline works when distraction whispers. Discipline is the weapon that cuts chains and builds empires. The reason millionaires rise above average is because they learned to master themselves before they tried to master the world. If you cannot control what you eat, what you watch, what you say, what you do with your time, then you cannot control your destiny. That is why so many people live enslaved, not to governments, not to bosses, not to systems, but to their own impulses. The impulse to check the phone every few seconds. The impulse to eat what feels good instead of what impulse to quit when things get hard. The impulse to chase temporary comfort instead of eternal reward. Slaves are not born in chains. They are born in impulses that never get mastered. And those impulses slowly harden into shackles. A man who cannot say no to himself is already a prisoner. Discipline is the great divider. Two people can start with the same talent, the same resources, the same opportunities, but the one who disciplines himself will rise while the other will sink. Discipline multiplies talent. Impulse destroys it. Discipline stretches time. Impulse wastes it. Discipline builds wealth. Impulse spends it before it is earned. That is why the path is narrow, because it requires constant denial of what's easy, constant rejection of what's tempting, constant sacrifice of the immediate for the eternal. Millionaires understand delayed gratification, that the seed must be planted, watered, cared for day after day before the harvest ever comes. Slaves live only for the moment, grabbing every bite, every thrill, every distraction, never realizing that brilliance is digging them deeper into chains they cannot break. There is a battle raging in every person, and it is the battle between discipline and impulse. Get up and grind. The other says stay down and rest. One voice says invest and save. The other says spend and waste. One voice says focus and build. The other says scroll and scroll. The voice you obey determines the life you live. Millionaires don't have stronger genes. They don't have some secret advantage. They just train their ears to obey discipline over impulse. They put themselves under command. They treat their mission as law. They master the art of self-control. And when you master self-control, you become unstoppable because nothing outside you can control you and nothing inside you controls you. Impulse. Driven people are like leaves in the wind, tossed around by every emotion, every craving, every distraction. They say yes to everything, and in saying yes to everything, they end up with nothing. They lack boundaries, they lack focus, they lack strength. That is why they remain slaves, slaves to entertainment, slaves to lust, slaves to comfort, slaves to fear. A millionaire lives by structure, and structure feels like prison to the undisciplined. But that very structure is what leads to freedom. Discipline is not about restriction. It is about liberation. It frees you from the chaos of your impulses. It frees you from the regrets of wasted time. It frees you from the cycle of failure. It frees you to build, to grow, to multiply. It frees you to design a life instead of drifting into one. Millionaires understand that discipline is not a momentary choice. It is a lifestyle. It is not something you turn on when you feel like it and off when you don't. It becomes who you are. It becomes your default mode. Discipline is brushing your teeth when you don't feel like it. It's working out when your body aches. It's studying when your mind wanders. It's showing up when no one is watching. It's finishing when quitting feels easier. Those small disciplines compound into habits. Those habits form your character, and your character creates your destiny. On the other hand, impulse compounds into regret, regret into weakness, weakness into chains. Every choice is either moving you to freedom or chaining you deeper into slavery. And the deciding factor is discipline. A millionaire lives by principle, not by feeling. They wake up not asking, what do I feel like doing, but asking, what must I do? They understand that feelings are liars, impulses are deceivers, and emotions will betray you every time if you let them lead. Slaves obey their feelings. Millionaires obey their principles. Slaves move when they are motivated. Millionaire because it is required. Slaves stop when it hurts. Millionaires push until the job is done. This is the separation line, and it is sharper than people realize. Every great achievement is built on the bones of discipline, while every wasted life is buried in the soil of impulse. The truth is that the world is designed to feed your impulses. Companies spend billions to keep you distracted, addicted, consuming, obeying your every urge. They want you impulsive because impulsive people are predictable, controllable, and profitable. That might fight harder for discipline today than any generation before, because the chains are invisible now, but they are stronger than ever. They are digital, they are psychological, they are emotional. If you do not take command of yourself, the world will take command of you. But the disciplined rise above. They turn off the noise. They starve their distractions. They live like soldiers with a mission. And that mission sets them free. It doesn't just create millionaires. It creates leaders, visionaries, builders, warriors. Because the discipline that earns money is the same discipline that earns respect, earns influence. Not lead others until you first lead yourself. And you cannot lead yourself if you are a slave to impulses. That is why discipline is wealth far greater than money. Money can be lost, stolen, or spent, but discipline stays with you for life. It makes you resilient. It makes you dangerous. It makes you free. It is the one trait no one can take from you unless you give it up. When you understand that millionaires master discipline, you realize the goal is not the money itself. It is the person you must become to earn it. That person is disciplined, focused, unshaken, unbroken, unstoppable. They are not a slave to food, to fear, to lust, to comfort. They are free because they have mastered the one thing that enslaves most people, their own impulses. And when you master everything, your destiny is shaped by what you lock into daily. Because every single day is a seed, and the seeds you water will one day grow into the forest of your life. Most people think destiny is somewhere far away, in the stars, in fate, in luck, in some power outside of them. But destiny is written in the choices you make today, in the habits you repeat, in the focus you give, in the distractions you refuse. Destiny is not a mystery, it is a pattern. And that pattern is being woven in the fabric of your routine right now. If you wake up and lock into distractions, you are writing a distracted destiny. If you wake up and lock into growth, into discipline, into vision, you are shaping a destiny of strength and freedom. Your life will not be what you dream about. It will be what you consistently do, because repetition carves identity and identity shapes future. The truth is that your daily habits are the architects of your destiny. You can speak about greatness. You can fantasize about success. You can imagine freedom. But if your daily life is not aligned with that vision, it will never manifest. Every time you scroll and study, you are shaping a weaker destiny. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you are bending your future toward mediocrity. Every time you lock into excuses instead of solutions, you are engraving failure into your path. But every time you rise early and push, every time you choose discipline over impulse, every time you build instead of waste, you are chiseling the stone of your future into a monument of success. The little things matter more than you think, because little things repeated become big results. Small distractions create wasted years, but small disciplines create extraordinary lives. Look at the life of anyone who has achieved greatness, and you will find one common thread: consistency. They locked into the vision day after day, long after the excitement faded, long after the applause stopped, long after the feelings disappeared. That destiny is not built on occasional effort, but on relentless repetition. They locked into practice, into study, into sacrifice, until those things became their nature. And because they locked in daily, their destiny rose. On the other hand, those who remain scattered, inconsistent, distracted, their lives reveal the opposite pattern. The world does not reward what you think about. It rewards what you repeatedly do. Destiny is not written by emotion, it is written by execution. You are what you focus on, and what you focus on expands. If your eyes are locked on failure, fear, negativity, then you will manifest those things in your life. If your eyes are locked on vision, growth, discipline, then your life will bend toward those outcomes. The mind is like soil. It will grow whatever seeds you plant in it, but it does not care if the seeds are weeds or fruit. If you feed your mind with distraction, gossip, entertainment, you are planting weeds, and soon those weeds will choke out the life you were meant to live. If you feed your mind with wisdom, knowledge, and faith, you are planting fruit, and in time you will eat from that tree. The question is, what are you locking into every single day? Because those locks are writing your destiny. Destiny is not shaped in the grand moments alone. It is shaped in the ordinary hours, in the quiet decisions no one sees. It is shaped in whether you choose to get up early or sleep in, whether you choose to push through discomfort or quit when it hurts, whether you choose to invest your time or waste it. The future is not some mystery waiting to surprise you. The future is the harvest of your daily focus. Lock into discipline today and you will harvest freedom tomorrow. Lock into distraction today and you will harvest regret tomorrow. Life is not built in one decision. It is built in 1,000 micro decisions that compound into a destiny you cannot escape. That is why every day matters, because every day is a stroke on the canvas of your future. When you lock into the wrong things daily, you enslave yourself without even realizing it. You might think checking your phone every 10 minutes doesn't matter, but what it does is fracture your attention, weaken your focus, steal your time, and time is the material your destiny is made of. You might think indulging in excuses for a week doesn't matter, but excuses become habits, and habits become identity, and identity becomes destiny. The chains of distraction are built link by day until one day you look up and realize years have passed and nothing has changed. The freedom of focus is built the same way, brick by brick, until suddenly you stand in a palace of success and people call you lucky when they never saw the daily grind it took to build it. Discipline is destiny in disguise. Every time you master yourself in the moment, you are shaping your future in ways you cannot yet see. Many are not born in one decision. They are born in thousands of small choices repeated with relentless focus. Slaves are not chained in one instant. They are chained in thousands of small impulses obeyed without resistance. The man who eats clean today, trains today, learns today, builds today, he is free tomorrow. The man who indulges today, wastes today, ignores today, he is chained tomorrow. This is why what you lock into daily matters more than anything else, because the future is nothing but today multiplied by time. You cannot separate destiny from daily focus. You cannot dream about success while locking into laziness. You cannot desire greatness while locking into gossip. You cannot crave freedom while locking into comfort. Life is brutally honest. It gives back to you what you put into it, not what you wish, not what you say, not what you hope, but what you consistently do. If you want to know your destiny, don't look at your dreams, look at your daily routines. That will tell you where you are going. And if you don't like what you see, change what you lock into now, because tomorrow is already being boot by today. When you wake up each day, you are holding a pen, and every decision is a line you write in the story of your life. Most people don't even realize they are writing. They think destiny is just happening to them. But no, they are writing it with their habits. They are locking into distraction, and the story they are writing is one of mediocrity. But you can choose differently. You can take the pen back by locking into what matters most. You can write a story of focus, of power, of freedom. Every day is a page, every decision a sentence, every habit a chapter. And one day the book will close, and the question will be, did you lock into the right things, or did you waste your life locked into distractions?